G'day, this video profiles Groggin Track, which runs from the Mount Hope Road all the way down to the Murray River crossing at Groggin. Groggin Track is one of the popular ways to come into the Victorian Alps from the Kosciuszko National Park area, particularly if you're wanting to head up towards the Mount Pinnibar area. I'm not sure where the actual track starts. I'm pretty sure it starts around the national park boundary. Anyway, it essentially follows a series of ridge lines down to the Murray River. Really scenic drive. The track conditions up the top end of it are really good. The track slopes are quite moderate. It's nothing too steep or difficult to worry about. Really nice piece of forest to drive through. And there's some great views as well down into the Murray River Valley. Quite a lot of those humps to get over, but nothing really too serious to worry about. A couple of places the track's a little bit narrow and you just have to keep an eye out for oncoming traffic. A little bit cut up in a few places where there's been a little bit of rutting, and you can obviously see there's a bit of clay there which would get fairly slippery if it was wet. Here we are at the Mount Pinnibar track turnoff. So at the time we went through, that track is temporarily closed. You can see here the track is a little bit cut up further up, it's a little bit rutted, but really easy going. Nothing to sort of worry about. This is just such a nice little track to spin along. As I said, it's a great way to come in to the Mount Pinnibar area. Just a little bit of a bog hole to negotiate. This one's a little bit tricky, but I think most four-wheel drives will get through there okay. So we're now starting to come down towards the Groggin area where there's Groggin Station, which we'll see in a minute. A little bit of traffic on the road this day. There's a few big ruts here, so we sort of had to be a bit careful passing each other. So this section, as you just come down towards Groggin Station, is pretty cut up. And there's some pretty decent ruts in the track, so you just need to be very careful. Just a small section there where it's really chewed up. I'm not quite sure why, maybe it's just where the water flows down the hill. Anyway, it's quite rough and you just need to take your time, but most four-wheel drives will get through there without any problem. So now here we are on the boundary of Groggin Station on the left. Now the track itself goes around to the right. We decided we'd head down to the Dogman's hut. It's a really cool alpine hut. And here's the hut. It's basically on the banks of the Murray River, but you can't really see the river from the hut. And there's a great campground just around the hut, so awesome place to stay. So we've headed back up the hill and we're now back onto Groggin Track, heading down towards the Murray River crossing. The tracks are rough in a couple of sections. There's just a few rutted areas you just need to take some care getting through. Getting close to the turnoff. So the continuation of this track is Davies Plain Tracks. This is the start of it. We've turned left and now we're just heading down into the crossing. There's a really gnarly step down here. You can't really tell from the video footage, but it's quite steep. coming from the other direction. It's a bit of a scramble getting up the bank. And here we are coming through the famous crossing. So the river water levels were pretty low. They're probably about halfway up the tyre, maybe a little bit higher. We've been at the crossing when the water level's been almost 2 metres higher. So they generally close the gates when the river's flowing pretty hard. Here's the seasonal gates. So I'm pretty sure this is the end of the track, but anyway, it rolls back onto the Alpine Way. Hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you out there.